Jesus tells us to come to him, to learn from him, for he is gentle and humble in heart. We always hear this passage on Good Friday celebration as we learn from the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And among the saints, among the great people who have followed these words of Jesus is our saint for today, Saint Francis of Assisi. In fact, many writers would describe him as the very person who has the likeness of Christ in his work, in his charity, in his character. Because of his heart for the poor, as we say that the church is the church of the poor, and the church has the preferential option for the poor. And St. Francis of Assisi has shown that. He has lived only for 48 years, but he has left a great legacy to the world with his deprivation, a complete deprivation. In fact, he was a son of a merchant, and a merchant Italian who was engaged in trade, in business, especially in clothing, and a noblewoman mother. But he chose to live a simple life. In fact, he deprived himself of his father's wealth. He lived a life of the poor. He has first his 11 companions with him and preached the gospel of Jesus, not only in words but in action, taking care of the poor. He's a kind of Mother Teresa in our time, during the time. That's why he became so popular. He did not become a priest, but he was a deacon, and to be a deacon means to serve. And that is the work of the deacon. By nature, to be a deacon is to render your service, especially for the needy, for the widows, for those in dire need. And St. Francis has shown his dedication. But more than that, he has shown to the world his love for Mother Nature, for the earth. That's why theologians will call him a mystic, because in God's creation, St. Francis will see the presence of God. That's why St. Francis would even call the sun brother sun, sister moon, sister birds, brother water, brother land. Everything of God's creation, he would call his brothers and sisters, so that he finds himself with nature, because he sees God in nature. And this shows that we have to protect the world which God has created. We have to protect the plants, the animals, everything that he has given us. And this is the reason why he was declared as patron of ecology by Pope John Paul II. And St. Francis has inspired us in so many ways, especially in the kind of life that we are to live. As he established the religious congregation we call now the Franciscan order. In fact, the Franciscan, we call them the friars or the lesser brothers. The friar minors, they have different branches now, such as the Capuchins, the friar minors, and even he was a co-founder of the order of Saint Clare, or the poor of Saint Clare. And we know that their work is towards the elevation of the plight of the needy and the poor. These days, we are focused on the plenary council, and we hope and pray that the assembly would also focus on the plight of the needy and of the poor in the spirit of St. Francis. As they began their assembly, as they began their discussion on the need of the particular Church of Australia, our prayer is for the Plenary Council to focus also on the need of the church to be of concern for charity, for poverty, because this is the image, this should be the image of the church. Our parish, our diocese should have the thought and the inclination of their plight. As we close the short homily, let us remember that St. Francis has given us a beautiful prayer that we always pray, that we always sing. So let us recite the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. May God bless us all.